If you've ever been on a flight and purchased the onboard Wi-Fi, you know that this experience is almost always followed by instant regret. After entering your card details and dealing with a crappy login page, you're faced with an internet connection that belongs to the 90s. Worry no more. Elon Musk has revealed that his internet company Starlink Aviation would provide internet access in planes, giving the same experience as at home. So how does the company that provides internet to residents and businesses provide internet service to a moving object that is too far up among the clouds? Come on, let's find out. Before we move on to the video, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Also, press the bell icon for more updates. SpaceX is now advertising Starlink Aviation and promises to provide 350 Mbps broadband with unlimited data for every airplane it is installed in. Aviation is the fourth Starlink product, following business, residential, RVs, and maritime. SpaceX signed a deal with cruise operator Royal Caribbean to spread the use of Starlink across its entire fleet. SpaceX created an aerodynamic, low-profile receiving terminal fitted on the top of an aircraft. The terminal features an electronically steered phased array antenna. Internet in planes will feel the same as if you were trying to access the internet at home, wrote SpaceX chief Elon Musk on Twitter. Starlink can deliver up to 340 Mbps to each plane, which enables all passengers to have streaming-capable internet simultaneously, the company said. With latency as low as 15 ms, passengers can actively participate in activities previously not functional in flight, including video calls, virtual private networks, online gaming, and other high data rate activities. Starlink said the airplane service will utilize a low-profile aero terminal with an electronically steered phased array antenna, which provides new levels of reliability, performance, and redundancy. It has a simplified design that does not resist installations during minimal downtime and matches well with other normal maintenance checks, Starlink says. The service hardware also has 2 wireless access points. The Starlink Aviation kit includes a power supply, aero terminal, 2 wireless access points, and harnesses. SpaceX says deliveries will start in 2023. So how could Starlink provide much more bandwidth to an airplane? When a satellite sends its signal down to Earth, the power of that signal decreases by the inverse square of the distance. To use basic numbers, let's say your satellite is 100 meters away and you're receiving a signal power of 100. If you doubled the distance between the receiver and the satellite, the power would not just be cut in half, it would drop to 25. The lower the power, the more it starts to blend in with the noise of the surrounding, causing parts of the signal to be lost. At this point, the bandwidth hits a limit and the data speeds start to drop as it gets further away. Think about the signal you receive from your Wi-Fi router at home and what it would be like if you moved it to several streets away. Since geostats are much further away than Starlink sats, the effect is very noticeable. In order to make up for this power deficit, geostats have to use transmitters and antennas that are much more powerful. However, these can only be so powerful. In order to match the power received from a Starlink satellite, the geosats antenna and transmitter would need to be enormous. For the current generation of geosats, this would make them far too big to fit into a fairing of a rocket, and so geosats are physically limited in terms of how much power and bandwidth they can get to an airplane. But Starlink's biggest advantage perhaps lies in its extremely low latency. An airplane has 2 methods of sending and receiving a signal. It can either get it via cell towers on the ground or it can connect to a satellite. Since most flights take place over the ground, airlines typically prefer the air-to-ground method. These cell towers are similar to the 4G ones that our phones connect to. However, since an airplane is much further away, the signal maxes out at around 3 megabits per second compared to 40 megabits per second, which you would get from a 4G tower. And so, with such a tiny amount of bandwidth being shared between multiple passengers, it's no surprise that airplane Wi-Fi is so slow. Because of this, airlines can drastically overcharge for their Wi-Fi to reduce the number of users clogging the system. So for the 3 passengers that actually paid for the $30 Wi-Fi, the speeds are probably not too bad. But a much faster form of Wi-Fi comes from above, and this is where SpaceX comes in. For satellite internet, a ground-based antenna transmits the signal up to a geostationary satellite 3,600 kilometers above the Earth's surface. The satellite then relays that signal down to the airplane, where it is received by a large antenna on top of the fuselage. These satellites typically use Ku or Ka band systems to communicate, reaching speeds of up to 50 or 70 megabits per second. This is a nice improvement over the cell towers, but since there are not many of these satellites in space, multiple planes and users will be connected to the same satellite, making the speed still incredibly slow. Starlink recently got the Federal Communications Commission's approval to take over Starlink's satellite internet service on moving vehicles, airplanes, and ships. Even before getting that approval, SpaceX was in negotiation with airlines to bring Starlink onto flights. In April, Hawaiian Airlines stated it would provide Starlink service to passengers for as little as no extra charge, starting in the coming year. Starlink Aviation could help SpaceX to improve Starlink's finances, which have taken a shot with the company donating terminals and services to the Ukraine war effort. SpaceX is losing and has lost over $20 million a month due to unpaid costs and services related to restricting the security measures for cyber war defense, but we'll keep doing it, Musk wrote on Twitter yesterday. SpaceX also lost out on $886.51 million in FCC rural broadband funding that would have been collected over 10 years, though it's appealing that decision. The FCC had a doubt about the ability of Starlink to meet the broadband grant's speed requirements. Recently, these speed tests show Starlink home internet has been getting slower as more people make use of it. Starlink conducted a prototype last month on a JSX air flight between San Jose, California and Burbank, reportedly hitting speeds above 110 Mbps. JSX CEO Alex Wilcox revealed the airline would begin to offer Starlink service on passenger-carrying flights in October, with respect to an article Aviation Today published on September 9th. JSX operates a fleet of 78 total Embraer 145s and 135s and currently has Starlink modems, antenna, and wireless access points installed and testing on 2 of its aircraft. The Aviation Today article said, Wilcox expressed the performance of Starlink on those 2 aircraft as working stunningly well. There is a one-time hardware cost of $160,000, not including installation. The installation can be carried out by your current maintenance organization, or Starlink can recommend qualified and experienced installers, Starlink says. The monthly service fees are $12,800 to $26,000. There are no long-term contracts, and most of the plans offer unlimited data. Your hardware is under warranty for as long as you subscribe to the service, the Starlink Aviation webpage says. Buyers can call and book now, and deliveries will start in mid-2023, a Starlink's FAQ says. Starlink Aviation will have worldwide coverage as there are always satellites nearby or overhead to provide a powerful signal at high latitudes and at the poles where the signals are not frequently acquired, the FAQ says. Service will be available in flight over water and land and on the ground during taxi, takeoff, and landing. As long as the equipment is provided power, the Starlink has a view of the sky without any distraction. The connection is possible. So far, Starlink said it's starting to obtain supplemental type certificates for the following aircraft: ERJ-145, ERJ-135, G650, G450, G550, Falcon 2000, Challenger 300, Global Express, Challenger 350, Global 5000, Global 7500, and Global 6000. Those models are regional jets and business jets, but SpaceX said that the Starlink engineering team will update the list as development starts on additional aircraft. Although there are still many cost hurdles and strict regulations to overcome, SpaceX has already signed a deal to start providing Wi-Fi for Hawaiian Airlines and JSX Airlines next year. And so maybe one day in the future, we'll be able to effortlessly stream YouTube videos and play video games while flying through the air at 900 km/h. That's it. What do you think of this? Is Starlink the future of our internet? Do let us know in the comments below. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe and smash the bell icon now to stay updated. See you soon. Until then, stay safe.